Via's secret. A couple of days after spring break ended, Mum found out that Via hadn't told her about a school play that was happening at her high school the next week, and Mum was mad. Mum doesn't really get mad that much, though Dad would disagree with that, but she was really mad at Via for that. She and Via got into a huge fight. I could hear them yelling at each other in Via's room. My bionic robot ears could hear Mum saying, "But what is it with you lately, Via? You're moody and taciturn and secretive." "What is so wrong with my not telling you about a stupid play?" Via practically screamed. "I don't even have a speaking part in it." "Your boyfriend does. Don't you want us to see him in it?" "No, actually, I don't." "Stop screaming." "You scream first, just leave me alone, okay? You've been really good about leaving me alone my entire life, so why you chose high school to suddenly be interested, I have no idea." Then I don't know what Mum answered, because it all got very quiet, and even my bionic robot ears couldn't pick up a signal. My cave. By dinner they seemed to have made up. Dad was working late, Daisy was sleeping. She'd thrown up a lot earlier in the day, and Mum made an appointment to take her to the vet next morning. The three of us were sitting down and no one was talking. Finally I said, "So, we're going to see Justin in the play?" Via didn't answer, but looked down at her plate. "You know, Oggy," said Mum quietly, "I didn't realise what play it was, and it really isn't something that would be interesting to kids your age." "So I'm not invited?" I said, looking at Via. "I didn't say that," said Mum. "It's just, I don't think it's something you'd enjoy." "You get totally bored," said Via, like she was accusing me of something. "Are you and Dad going?" I asked. "Dad'll go," said Mum. "I'll stay home with you." "What?" Via yelled at Mum. "Oh great, so you're going to punish me for being honest by not going?" "You didn't want us to go in the first place, remember?" answered Mum. "But now that you know about it, of course I want you to go," said Via. "Well, I've got to weigh everyone's feelings here, Via," said Mum. "What are you two talking about?" I shouted. "Nothing," they both snapped at the same time. "Just something about Via's school that has nothing to do with you," said Mum. "You're lying," I said. "Excuse me," said Mum, kind of shocked. Even Via looked surprised. "I said you're lying," I shouted. "You're lying," I screamed at Via, getting up. "You're both liars. You're both lying to my face like I'm an idiot." "Sit down, Oggy," said Mum, grabbing my arm. I pulled my arm away and pointed at Via. "You think I don't know what's going on?" I yelled. "You just don't want your brand new fancy high school friends to know your brother's a freak." "Oggy," Mum yelled, "that's not true." "Stop lying to me, Mum," I shrieked. "Stop treating me like a baby. I'm not retarded, I know what's going on." I ran down the hallway to my room and slammed the door behind me so hard that I actually heard little pieces of the wall crumble inside the door frame. Then I plopped onto my bed and pulled the covers up on top of me. I threw my pillows over my disgusting face and then piled all my stuffed animals on top of the pillows, like I was inside a little cave. If I could walk around with a pillow over my face all the time, I would. I don't even know how I got so mad. I wasn't really mad at the beginning of dinner. I wasn't even sad. But then all of a sudden it all kind of just exploded out of me. I knew Vi didn't want me to go to a stupid play, and I knew why. I figured Mum would follow me into my room straight away, but she didn't. I wanted her to find me inside my cave of stuffed animals, so I waited a little more. But even after 10 minutes, she still didn't come after me. I was pretty surprised. She always checks on me when I'm in my room, upset about stuff. I pictured Mum and Via talking about me in the kitchen. I figured Via was feeling really, really, really bad. I pictured Mum totally laying on the guilt, and Dad would be mad at her when he came home too. I made a little hole through the pile of pillows and stuffed animals and peeked at the clock on my wall. Half an hour had passed and Mum still hadn't come into my room. I tried to listen for the sounds in the other rooms. Were they still having dinner? What was going on? Finally, the door opened. It was Via. She didn't even bother coming over to my bed, and she didn't come in softly like I thought she would. She came in quickly. "Goodbye." "Oggy," said Via, "come quick, Mum needs to talk to you." "I'm not apologising." "This isn't about you," she yelled. "Not everything in the world is about you, Oggy. Now hurry up, Daisy's sick. Mum's taking her to the emergency vet. Come say goodbye." I pushed the pillows off my face and looked up at her. That's when I saw she was crying. "What do you mean, goodbye?" "Come on," she said, holding out her hand. I took her hand and followed her down the hall to the kitchen. Daisy was lying down sideways on the floor with her legs straight out in front of her. She was panting a lot, like she'd been running in the park. Mum was kneeling beside her, stroking the top of her head. "What happened?" I asked. "She just started whimpering all of a sudden," said Via, kneeling down next to Mum. I looked down at Mum, who was crying too. "I'm taking her to the animal hospital downtown," she said. "The taxi's coming to pick me up." "The vet'll make her better, right?" I said. Mum looked at me. "I hope so, honey," she said quietly. "But I honestly don't know." "Of course he will," I said. "Daisy's been sick a lot lately, Oggy, and she's old." "But they can fix her," I said, looking at Via to agree with me, but Via wouldn't look up at me. Mum's lips was trembling. "I think it might be time we say goodbye to Daisy, Oggy. I'm sorry." No, I said. We don't want her to suffer, Oggy, she said. The phone rang. Via picked it up and said, OK, thanks, and then hung up. The taxi's outside, she said, wiping her tears with the backs of her hands. OK, Oggy, open the door for me, sweetie, said Mum, picking Daisy up very gently like she was a huge droopy baby. Please no, Mummy, I cried, putting myself in front of the door. Honey, please, said Mum, she's very heavy. What about Daddy, I cried. He's meeting me at the hospital, Mum said. He doesn't want Daisy to suffer, Oggy. Via moved me away from the door and held it open for Mum. My cell phone's on if you need anything, Mum said to Via. Can you cover her with a blanket? Via nodded, but she was crying hysterically now. Say goodbye to Daisy, kids, Mum said, tears streaming down her face. I love you, Daisy, Via said, kissing Daisy on the nose. I love you so much. Bye, little girlie, I whispered into Daisy's ear. I love you. Mum carried Daisy down the stoop. The taxi driver had opened the back door and we watched her get in. Just before she closed the door, Mum looked up at us, standing by the entrance to the building. She gave us a little wave. I don't think I've ever seen her look sadder. I love you, Mummy, said Via. I love you, Mummy, I said. I'm sorry, Mummy. Mum blew a kiss to us and closed the door. We watched the car leave and then Via closed the door. She looked at me a second and then she hugged me very, very tight, while we both cried a million tears. Daisy's toys. Justin came over about half an hour later. He gave me a big hug and said, sorry, Oggy. We all sat down in the living room, not saying anything. For some reason, Via and I had taken all of Daisy's toys from around the house and put them in a little pile on the coffee table. Now we just stared at the pile. She really is the greatest dog in the world, said Via. I know, said Justin, rubbing Via's back. She just started whimpering like all of a sudden, I said. Via nodded. Like 2 seconds after you left the table, she said. Mum was going to go after you, but Daisy just started, whimpering. Like how, I said. Just whimpering, I don't know, said Via. Like howling, I said. Oggy, like whimpering, she answered impatiently. She started moaning like something was really hurting her, and she was panting like crazy. Then she just kind of plopped down, and Mum went over and tried to pick her up, and whatever. She was obviously hurting. She bit Mum. What? I said. When Mum tried to touch her stomach, Daisy bit her hand, Via explained. Daisy never bites anybody, I answered. She wasn't herself, said Justin. She was obviously in pain. Daddy was right, said Via. We shouldn't have let her get this bad. What do you mean, I said. He knew she was sick. Oggy's mum. Oggy, Mum's taken her to the vet like 3 times in the last 2 months. She's been throwing up left and right, haven't you noticed? But I didn't know she was sick. Vi didn't say anything, but she put her arm around my shoulders and pulled me closer to her. I started to cry again. I'm sorry, Oggy, she said softly. I'm really sorry about everything, okay? You forgive me. You know how much I love you, right? I nodded. Somehow that fight didn't matter much now. Was Mummy bleeding? I asked. It was just a nip, said Via. Right there. She pointed to the bottom of her thumb to show exactly where Daisy had bit her Mum. Did it hurt her? Mummy's okay, Oggy. She's fine. Mum and Dad came home 2 hours later. We knew the second the door opened and Daisy wasn't with them that Daisy was gone. We all sat down in the living room around the pile of Daisy's toys. Dad told us what had happened at the animal hospital, how the vet took Daisy for some x-rays and blood tests, then came back and told them that she had a huge mass in her stomach. She was having trouble breathing. Mum and Dad didn't want her to suffer, so Daddy picked her up in his arms like he always liked to do, with her legs straight up in the air, and he and Mum kissed her goodbye over and over again and whispered to her while the vet put a needle into her leg. Then after about a minute, she died in Daddy's arms. It was so peaceful, Daddy said. She wasn't in any pain at all, like she was just going to sleep. A couple of times while he talked, Dad's voice got trembly and he cleared his throat. I've never seen Dad cry before, but I saw him cry tonight. I got into Mum and Dad's bedroom looking for Mum to put me to bed, but saw Dad sitting on the edge of the bed, taking off his socks. His back was to the door, so he didn't know I was there. At first I thought he was laughing because his shoulders were shaking, but then he put his palms on his eyes and I realised he was crying. It was the quietest crying I'd ever heard, like a whisper. I was going to go over to him, but then I thought maybe he was whisper crying because he didn't want me or anyone else to hear him. So I walked out and went to Via's room, and I saw Mum lying next to Via on the bed, and Mum was whispering to Via, who was crying. So I went to my bed and put on my pyjamas without anyone telling me to, and I put the nightlight on and turned the light off and crawled into the little mountain of stuffed animals I'd left on my bed earlier. I felt like all that had happened a million years ago. I took my hearing aids off and put them on the night table and pulled the covers up to my ears and imagined Daisy snuggling with me, a big wet tongue licking my face all over like it was her favourite face in the world. And that's how I fell asleep.